All right, everybody, welcome to lesson number 2. Now, in lesson 1, we talked about the 5%. And all the 5% said was people will only remember 2 things when you speak to them. Number 1, a general impression of you as the speaker. And number 2, probably one thing you said. Now, knowing that, understanding that, we come to the next point, Area 47. In this lesson, we're going to show you how to instantly create interest and curiosity from your very first words to maximize the likelihood that the thing that you want people to remember is the thing they're gonna remember. Now, you ever watched a movie, and in the movie, the hero gets into some situation. They get into some situation where they can't escape, and you're like, oh, the hero's gonna die, but then you say, can they die? Are they gonna kill the hero off? Oh no, they're gonna get out of it. Or they're gonna think of something stupid to get out of it. And you have this little mental fight with yourself. That is not only you as the most engaged in the film, that is Area 47 at its most active. What's Area 47, you ask? It's a little almond-shaped part of your brain. And there's a gentleman named David Levitin who wrote a book called The Organized Mind that talked about Area 47. Now, here's the thing about this book. It wasn't a book on neurology. It was a book on decision-making. What makes people listen? What makes people remember? What makes people decide? And here's what they found. When something is super obvious, when you know exactly what is coming next, Area 47 shuts down, you get bored, you stop listening. When something is too complex, it's got way too many details, you can't keep track of what's happening, Area 47 gets overwhelmed, it shuts down, you stop listening. But when you sort of know what's coming next, or you think you know what's coming next, or you're actively trying to figure out what something means, Area 47, it's at its most active. Why is this important? Because Area 47 is also associated with pleasure. And when you can solve a mystery, when you have a, oh, I get it now moment, a little bit of pleasure is released, a little bit of dopamine pumps through your system. So how can we use it? The moral of the story is uncertainty. If people never know what's coming next, if you're always surprising them, they're going to be looking at you like this. Even if they can't see you, if they're on the phone, they're going to be listening like, just like when you get really involved in a radio story on your way to work or a podcast. So how do we use it? How do we use uncertainty to create interest? We use it throughout our presentations, whenever we're speaking. But as a starting point, let's use it in our openings. So here's what you're going to do right now. Imagine I asked you a question about yourself. Tell me a time that you failed and why. The very first thing you say has to be an Area 47 opening. And what is that? Think of something totally obvious or totally vague that on the surface has nothing to do with your subject. And then within 2 to 3 sentences, you have this, oh, I get it. Let me give you a couple of examples. I was working with a bunch of salespeople. And this one person came up and said, by show of hands, does anyone here like to be touched by strangers? The whole room is like giggling, laughing, whatever. Look, what? Well, that person was a massage therapist trying to start their own business. And their fundamental business obstacle was getting new clients, getting strangers to trust them enough to have him go into their homes to give them massage therapy. Oh, I get it now. Another person came up and she did the same thing. She asked a question. She said, has anyone here in this room ever drank water before? At first, nobody puts up their hands. So she's like, okay, nobody, good. Big joke, right? Easy fun. Well, she sold industrial under-sink water filters, the kind of things that come already installed in a home, already installed in an office. Oh, I get it now. So a good Area 47 opening, at first, creates curiosity, seems totally unrelated to anything, then within a few sentences, oh, I get it. Let me show you one more example. The Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. Every year they have this big kind of euchre tournament. And that euchre tournament raises the majority of their funds for the whole year. So there's all these people in this room. The chief financial officer of the charity comes out, stands up, he's going to do a speech. He says, I want to show you something. This is the most important thing I can show you. And then he shows this slide. I know, generic office, no one in it. That's what everyone was thinking. They're like, what does this have to do with anything? In fact, he got a bunch of giggles out of it because it's such a lame thing. He's like, this is my office. As you can see, there's no one in it. This person who's cleaning up is also our bookkeeper and our receptionist. There's no lineups of people to give us money. We can't even afford a full staff. That's why this day, this tournament, this event is so important, because without it, we don't exist. People in the audience, I swear, wanted to just throw money at him. Because at first, you're like, what does this have to do with anything? Oh, And here's the best part about these kind of openings. You know how people tell you, oh, if you want to start a presentation, here's a great opening. Say an interesting stat. Ask a question. Tell a humorous story. But when you're scared, you're nervous, you're speaking internationally to a group of people over a video conference, have you tried it? How easy is it to be funny when you're nervous? How often have you started with an interesting stat and everyone's like, so? By using an Area 47 opening though, you get the humor, you get the interest, and the best part is, you're not trying. When we're speaking, we have to focus less on the things we say and focus more not on other people, but on other people's brains. If we can use Area 47, we maximize the chance that that person is going to remember something we said by engaging them with curiosity. And the moral of the story is this: curiosity equals an aha moment. What are you talking about? Couple of sentences. Oh, I get it now. Using Area 47, maximizing the 5%.